Welcome back to the Toronto Blue Jays sim on Out of the Park Baseball 21. I'm JayBlue, at Jays from Away on Twitter, and thanks to GM Games for hosting us here. I'm not calling this the 2020 sim anymore because we're beyond the year 2020, or at least the season 2020. We have finished the season, and Los Angeles Dodgers took the World Series. We finished with an 87-75 record. Good for second place in the American League East, 23 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah, the Rays kind of ran away with it. And here we are at the first day of the off-season. As you can see up here in the corner today, the off-season starts. And we have a lot of things to do. So we've already gone through and done our... If we go to our mail, you'll see that we've done the exercising of options that we've had. That, of course, is the old mail. So we've had here the option you're needed. We learned that JD Martinez didn't opt out, so he's back with the team. We're going to try to explore some trades on him. He doesn't really fit into our long-term plans. We decided to... decline the option on Chase Anderson. I think we took the option on Rafael Dolis so that he's still with us, and we declined the option on Wade Davis. So once free agency hits, they're going to be no longer with the roster. If we take a look at the pitching staff, you see that Chase Anderson is here, but it's going to say here that he's a free agent 2020. So his contract is going to expire when free agency kicks in, which will be November the 22nd. So another 3 weeks or so he's going to be on our club. So we don't have to worry about that. However, the one thing it might do is just influence how our roster is constructed until then. So if we want to go ahead and add anybody to our roster within the next few weeks, we're going to have to let somebody go. But it's going to be pretty easy because we can easily just release the people who are going to become free agents anyway. It'll just give other teams that little bit of a head start on trying to sign them. So if we look at the way our team is constructed going forward, we have four starting pitchers, or four legit starting pitchers. Anderson is not going to be with the team. Hyunjin Ryu is still under contract. Tanner Roark is still under contract. He's another guy I'm going to be exploring trades for. Nate Pearson, our stud, we're going to take that pitch count off, but as you can see, he's got very low stamina, so he may not log that many innings. Anthony Kay had a really nice first full season as a pitcher. So that's 4 here. Roark, if we trade Roark, that's going to be just 3. In terms of the depth for pitching, we're down to Matt Shoemaker, who his contract is up as well, so we're not going to renew him. Again, we are looking for guys with higher movement ratings, because I've been finding the guys with low movement, like Shoemaker, who had a home run per 9 innings of 2.3, and Shun Yamaguchi, who had a home run per 9 innings of 2.0. He's got also a 35 movement, and Tanner Roark has a 40 movement, and he had a 2.1 home run per 9 rating. So I'm really looking for guys who are going to be, and going forward, especially in drafting and signing and trading, I'm going to be looking for guys who are really well developed in that and with a lot of potential in that movement rating. Now, our bullpen definitely has some potential for more guys. Trent Thornton, again, he's another guy with a very low movement rating, 2.2 home runs per 9 innings. And in the American League East, that's a really tough thing to have. So evaluating our bullpen going forward, we're going to need a couple of arms. I'm not afraid really to pay for arms in the bullpen. Wade Davis, it actually may have been not a bad idea. I'm going to actually see if I can get him for less than what he would have been making. I definitely can, and it actually would have been less than what we would have paid, because it was a $15 million contract, and $7.5 million was going to be paid by the Colorado Rockies. So $6 million is actually less than what we would have paid for him. So in the next couple of weeks, I may decide to really try to offer Davis a little bit, maybe a little bit less, or maybe a shorter term. I definitely don't want to have him for 3 years in this vesting option. 40 innings pitched is not a huge hurdle for that vesting option. So definitely thinking about re-signing him. I definitely don't want to pay him $17 million or 15 or the half of 15. So, he's definitely asking for less, but the term is something I may want to negotiate with him. But you can see he had a solid season, 3.31 ERA, 0.6 home runs per 9 in Colorado is outstanding. So let me see actually if we can get this down a little bit. I'm going to subtract $1 million. I'm going to offer him 5 per year for 2 years and get rid of that option. Maybe add a team option with a $2 million buyout. Now, I don't think he's going to want this. I think he's asking for 3 years totaling 17. I'm offering him a guaranteed $7 million. So let's see what he says. Oh, that's interesting. He likes that idea. So I'm going to submit that. If we can get him for $5 million with an option, maximum $7 million, that's still less than what we would have paid him under his current contract. And, it definitely gives us more flexibility in terms of the term of the contract. We can buy him out after the first year. So I'm actually really pleased about that. That could definitely bring us another solid reliever. And if he does anything close to what he did this year, even, an ERA of one run higher per 9 innings, that'd be outstanding. Ken Giles is a guy we got to get something done with. I really like Giles, and our bullpen without Giles is, pretty empty. I mean, Romano here, he's got great strikeouts, but, home runs per 9 is actually low, but he's got 30 movements. So, I don't know if that's going to be, long-term sustainable. So Ken Giles, we definitely want to offer an extension. And it's not unreasonable. His current salary is $9.6 million, and he is going to be a free agent. I'm thinking I would like to see him more in line with about $11 million. He's 30, so it's not the worst, but 4 seasons for a reliever is kind of ridiculous. So I'm going to try 11 for 3 years. And I definitely don't like to give player options at all. And I'll give him a $2 million buyout on this one. And let's see what he has to say. Okay, he's down. I can live with that too. Giles has been dominant with the Blue Jays. I have nothing bad to say. So that would give us a core of Giles, Romano, Davis, Bass, Dolis, and Font. We're all good. Font more so than Bass. Yamaguchi is also in the fold for another year, and his second half of the year was very good after he came up from the minor leagues. All right, so that takes a look at our, going forward, at least the core of our pitching staff. The core of our offense, well, we've got Travis Shaw, who I think I declined his option because of JD Martinez. That was the big reason I declined his option. Now, that's our DH. We're going to need a first baseman, and we have some options. We can start Vlad at first base in spring training, and we do have some guys who may be able to play third base coming up. Nobody imminent, but there's definitely some stuff coming up through the minors. We're going to take a look at our top prospects in just a couple minutes. But I like our offensive core. Billy McKinney really stepped up. Randall Grichuk had a good year. JD Martinez, if he can have a rebound season, I hope so. But he's going to be our DH going forward. Bichette Guerrero, if we can move Guerrero to first base, he's going to be worth fewer, WAR. He's got 7.7 WAR this year. But he'll be worth fewer WAR, less WAR at first base. But I think that might be long-term where he's going to be, and his defensive capabilities as you can see, minus 4.2 zone rating, range factor of 1.96. We want to see it above 2 at least. And Guerrero could play. I mean, the range is not great, so I think he's a first baseman. And we'll start that conversion in spring training and see how that goes. The other thing is we're going to have to upgrade our catcher. I'm giving Danny Jansen one more year, maybe half a year, but he's definitely running out of some out of rope here. Okay, so we're going to go to the salary arbitration screen. So this will say who is eligible for salary arbitration, what they're asking. So we still do have Shaw available, and I'm actually, you know, he did have a productive season. He was worth 2.1 WAR, and because we don't really have another option now, he can play third base. Man, he's just so good at first. You know what? It may be a good idea to have Vladdy play first base in spring training, but go back to third once the season started. I'm okay with offering Shaw 4.4 million in arbitration, and in fact, I'm just going to try to see if he'll do that just as an extension. A lot of the time, what happens is they will ask for an amount, and you can offer less than what they're scheduled to get, or what you're offering in the arbitration hearing, and they'll just refuse everything until you get to that number. So I'm just offering him exactly what we would be offering in arbitration, and I'm going to ask for his response, and he says yes. So that's usually a pretty normal way of doing business here. Teoscar Hernandez, he's going to get arbitration. We're offering him $750,000. If we offer him $750,000, and he doesn't want to discuss it. I've seen this more and more in more recent. I think he's annoyed that we sent him down to the minors, but. Yeah, I've seen this more and more often in newer games where players, in the more recent editions, where players just don't want to, negotiate at certain points. Caleb Joseph is being offered this. I am very torn. I mean, he didn't do anything offensively, so I'm actually going to withdraw arbitration, and he's going to become a free agent. We can find another backup catcher. In fact, we're looking for a primary catcher as opposed to backup. Now, Wilmer Font is the one guy who's going to get a nice raise. He's seeking 1.84, and we're offering 1.68. Let's see if we can get that down a little bit more. So we offered 1.68, or we would offer 1.68. I'm going to take it down to 1.5. Ask for a response. So he doesn't like the 1.5. I'm going to go 1.550. 1, 2, 3. I hope that's the right number of zeros. Still doesn't like that. He hasn't budged. 1.6 million. And that's okay. So we're going to save maybe $80,000. I know, not much in the big picture, but we're going to save $80,000 on Wilmer Font. Now, we have pending free agents, and we have to decide if we want to offer them a qualifying offer. Now, none of these guys are really going to command that salary. So, Bass is a free agent. He's getting at $1.5 million right now, so we're not going to offer him another contract. Chase Anderson, we have declined the option, so we're not going to offer him another contract. Giles, we've offered him an extension. Joe Panic, making $563,000. I do like Panic. I like him on and again, he offers us some decent backup for Kevin Biggio if Biggio doesn't turn things around. Now, he wants a 3-year deal. I think that's a little bit too much for a 30-year-old. I'm going to offer him a 1-year deal, and I'm willing to give him $2 million. And he definitely wants a longer deal. What I'll do now is that I'm going to offer him a 2-year deal, $2.5 million a year. And the second year is going to be an option with a $500,000 buyout. And he likes that. So that commits us to $3 million for a backup second baseman infielder who actually was very productive this season. He's 30 years old. We only have him for a minimum of 1 year. And if he's good, we get him back for the same price the year after. If not, it just costs us $500,000. All right, so that takes care of our free agents that are pending. We've offered extensions to Giles and Panic. Everybody else we're going to just cut loose. Again, we're trying to build with guys who are a little bit more high-end in terms of the stuff for Anthony Bass here, and definitely in terms of movement for both Shoemaker and Anderson. Now, pending free agents without compensation, because we traded for Davis in the middle of the year, he wouldn't be eligible for compensation, but we've made an offer to him anyway. Now we have minor league free agents, and Anthony Alford, here's a big one. A lot of these guys I'm going to want to try to bring back, but Burns wants a major league contract, which I'm not willing to give. I will offer him a minor league extension, but he probably will refuse it. Alford, you know, I'm ready to give up on him. So James Dykstra, he was pretty productive, so I'm going to offer him a minor league extension. Roman Fields, he's 29. I don't think he's going to figure in the club going forward. We've offered minor league extensions here to Connor Fisk. Patrick Kivlahan is very productive, so he's good for the minor leagues. Tim Meza, we definitely want him back. Ruben Tejada, is he really worth bringing back? He's a nice depth piece. I'll offer him a minor league extension. Nice depth piece. Mitch Walding, don't really want to have back. I'm going to offer the minor league extension to Forrest Wall. Gabriel Guerrero, not really. Mac James, I don't think we're going to need another catcher. Jesus Lopez, he was good, but there's nowhere to grow with him. Norberto Obeso, again, you know, he's a very limited guy in his possibilities, and same with Deferson Barreto. So really we're just offering a few guys those minor league extensions, and that takes care of our salary arbitration screen. All right, so we're offering arbitration we're offering new contracts. We're trying to avoid arbitration here. We've offered new contracts to Font, Shaw, and we'll offer arbitration to Teoscar Hernandez, but he doesn't want to negotiate. We're offering extensions to the free agents Giles and Panic, and again, we've offered an extension to Wade Davis, getting him back at a very reduced salary, even with the 50% under the old contract that we would have gotten from Colorado. And we've offered minor league extensions to several players. So that takes care of that part of things. Now we are going to take a look at the minor leagues, and we're going to basically clean out some room. We're going to start to take a look at the pitching staffs. We have so many pitchers. You can see 18 pitchers here. And basically, Omar is going to be a free agent. Thomas Pannone is still under contract. Reed Foley is still on the 40-man. He may be out of options now. Let's take a look at him. Contract. He has one option year left, so we can still send him to the minors. TJ Zoik should have options left. We've offered an extension to Connor Fisk, Danny Jimenez, still under contract. Meza, we've offered him an extension. And now Jackson McClelland had a very bad season, more walks than innings pitched and strikeouts. And so, unfortunately, we are going to release McClelland. Julian Merriweather, he's still a guy, right? And I think he may be running out of options. So that was his last option here. So we're going to give him a chance to make the majors, but he has such a low, movement rating that I don't know how well he's going to do with the Blue Jays. Now, Jake Petrichka is going to be a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. He's on a minor league contract. He is going to be eligible for not eligible for minor league free agency. I don't know why, but okay, we'll keep him around for another year in the minors. Taylor Saucedo is apparently not eligible for minor league free agency. He should be. As a lefty, he's going to stick around a little longer. However, he may get released at some point. Kirby Snead gets another shot. Curtis Taylor was really strong. I like him. And Ty Tice and Zach Jackson both get another shot. Hector Perez is going to be candidate number 1 to be removed from the 40-man roster. There's definitely some potential here. That's a fringe major league reliever, but he does have 4 pitches, and they're pretty good. So he might be useful in the pen, but he definitely needs to improve that control and the movement in order for him to get to that next level. So he may be the guy that I remove from the 40-man roster. In terms of our lineups here, none of these guys are free agents. Some of these guys are long-term guys in the organization. And the guys that I've liked, I've offered contracts. So I'm not really worried about offensive guys. It's really going to be the pitching that we have a lot of guys who are going to be become free agents. So none of these guys are becoming free agents except for Gabriel Guerrero. That's fine. He didn't really do a heck of a lot. And I don't really need to release anybody here. So Jency Diaz, Elvis Luciano, he's on the 40-man. Patrick Murphy's on the 40-man. Joey Murray he's only been in the system a few years. So I don't think he's even eligible for the Rule 5 yet. Rule 5 ineligible. Yeah, less than 5 pro years. But again, Joey Murray has a low movement rating. Josh Winkowski, he'd be eligible for the Rule 5. But again, I don't think he has done a ton of stuff to merit being selected. Now we're getting into... here we've got some of the guys that we signed and extended, right? So Jake Brentz, for example, I can't offer him a minor league extension because he's already under contract for another year. So he says minor league contract, options used. So so he's already under contract and extended. Justin Dillon, he didn't have a bad season, but he's 27. I mean, Brentz is just 26. 27. And you know what? I think the 35 movement rating is the deal breaker with him. John Harris, he's another guy. Movement rating of 30. Andrew Sopko, movement rating of 30. Brad Wilson, Sean Weimer, and Julian Fernandez all stay. Zach Logue, movement rating of 30. I'm going to give him one more chance. Turner Larkins, he's going to stay. Jake Fishman is going to stay. The stuff is, I could use better stuff from you, Jake. And that's what we're doing here for the Fisher Cats. For the Dunedin Blue Jays, Maverick Buffo has not done it this year. Juan DePaula, I'm going to give him another chance. That strikeout rating is, strikeout numbers are really good. Now, that's split between Dunedin and Lansing. Justin Maesi, I'm going to give him one more chance. Alek Manoah, obviously, keeping. Braden Bushi, it's tough. It's tough. He's 25 in A-ball. I think, unfortunately, we have to be a little bit vicious here. Mike Ellenbest, he's another guy we're going to release. Cree Finfrock really had a bad year. I'm going to give him one more shot. Daysbel Hernandez is a guy that we brought in, so I'm not going to cut him loose. Josh Hyatt, 7.77 ERA. He gets another chance because he was so good in Lansing, but that 30 movement rating, 35 potential, I don't think that's going to go too far for him. Kyle Johnston, he was nothing but great, I think, after he came back from his injury. So Johnston's a guy I'm keeping an eye on. Alex Nolan, he's another guy with a low movement rating, but he was pretty good at this level, and I don't want to just cut everybody loose. Troy Watson is a guy who has that low movement, but he's got some potential, and he's only 23. Marcus Reyes, Sean Rakowski he walked more than he struck out. That's, and look at those numbers, those ratings. So Rakowski is released. So that really makes our Dunedin rotation a lot leaner. Now, the other thing is that really concerns me is we don't have a lot of guys who really earned promotions. And that always bugs me a little bit. Simeon Richardson definitely did. Kyle Johnson, I'll probably promote him just because of his age, but there aren't a lot of guys who really earned promotions, and that to me is concerning. And the same thing with Lansing. Lansing had a lot of pitchers, but not a lot who were really good. Now, Jared DeCesare was not great. The strikeout to walk ratio was okay, but not enough strikeouts per those innings. But he's injured, so we'll see what happens at the beginning of next year. Same thing with Edison Gonzalez. Luke Gillingham is going to be released. He's 26, and we'll send him back to the Navy. Brandon Eisert, he gets one more chance, just because he's only had really one season of pro ball, and he didn't really distinguish himself. Nick Fraze, yeah, I think I'm going to release him just because of that movement rating is so low, the potential. We need guys who can move the ball. Brody Rodning, the stuff is really low, and so I think that's just going to, he's got such limited potential. Parker Karachi, again, that movement rating is so low, and he had such a poor season. And he's 24. Okay, he's on the bubble right now. Juan Diaz, 22. He's a little younger. Hobie Harris struck out a lot of guys. That control rating, and he's sort of reached his peak, and he's 27, and he's in A-ball. Sorry, Hobie. Austin Havocost, he was okay. I'm going to give him another shot. Grayson Huffman has been around forever. Kobe Johnson. I'm torn, Kobe. I'm torn. One more year for you. Will McAfford, 23 years old. Lots of strikeouts for Will. But he's been in Lansing for 2 years. So the walks and the move. I mean, man, you've got such good stuff, Will. You get one more year. I'm going to move you up to Dunedin, and it's going to be sink or swim up there, my friend. Juan Nunez, he was one of our better pitchers, in fact, so he's going to get a promotion to Dunedin. Luis Quinones, he's going to get another shot. He had a good strikeout rate, but also just walked a ton of guys, 5.8 walks per 9. Hansel Rodriguez, he's a new guy, or not old new guy, new old guy. Fitz Stadler has some potential. He didn't pitch well, but he has some potential. He's 23. He's going to be another sink or swim type of guy. I'm going to move him up to Dunedin and see what happens. Grant Townsend. So he wasn't great in Dunedin, but was really good in Lansing, and he was injured for a lot of the year, so he sticks around. Felipe Castaneda, yeah, he was okay, so I'm going to keep him here. He was great in Vancouver, so and he's only 20, so I'm not going to just cut loose a 20-year-old just quite yet. So in Vancouver, we go here, and we've got some of these guys were promoted mid-season, so like Lazaro Estrada, Santos Moreno, Gabriel Ponce. Yeah, he's got some potential. So Ponce is going to move up to Lansing. Ethan Smith came up mid-season. Joel Concepcion is injured. He's gone for a while. He'll probably get a promotion to Lansing for next year. Winder Garcia. Again, there's some potential here. They're at least getting into that yellow area. Despite his poor season in Vancouver, he's going to repeat the level, I think. Kyle Huckabee, he was a 24-year-old college kid. The numbers aren't horrible, but that control, I think we're going to try to keep our system fairly lean. Colton Laws, again, that movement is fairly low. I may give him one more year in Lansing, but he's already 24. Andrew McInvale, he's got some potential overall, and he had a fairly solid season, so I'm actually pretty impressed with that. Andrew McInvale gets the call to Lansing. Nasuo Polino, 20 years old. I'm going to leave him there for another year. Chris Rivera, he's one of the guys we signed, so he's fine for now. He may go up to Lansing at some point. Sam Roberts, he's pretty young, so I'm going to leave him there. Jimmy Robbins, torn UCL. Sam Ryan, very low movement rating, and that may hinder him overall, but overall his season wasn't bad. 62 strikeouts, 25 walks, just 3 home runs. So we are going to see what he can do. He's also, I think, 23 now. And Reuter Hernandez, 22, hard-throwing guy. The control may be the limiting factor, but he only had 3 walks in 8 1/3 innings with these guys, so he's going to move up. All right, we're going to go now to Bluefield. So we have a lot of pitchers here, and it's going to just get even more and more just full in terms of pitchers as we go down the line. So, strap in, everybody. It's going to be exciting. Junior Hinojosa, he's got some potential, so we're going to keep him around. Emmanuel Vizcaíno, again, 21 though. Anders Tolhurst, he's a college guy. The Jays signed out of a junior college. Not a lot of potential, but he's only been pitching for 1 full season, and he wasn't that bad. So he's going to move up to Vancouver. Jacob Smith is a new draftee, so I'm very loath to do anything with new draftees too soon. Max Rychich, same thing. Nathaniel Perez, not bad overall. I may give him a year in Vancouver, see what happens. So we promote him to Vancouver. Miguel Olivo. Now, he was very bad. So I'm just going to leave him at this level. He was very bad at this level. He was great in the GCL. Zachary Murray, new draftee. Rafael Moncion is 21, so that's not bad, and he was okay. Alejandro Melean was okay. Trevor Koenig, a new draftee, not bad. The walks are a little bit high. Michael Dominguez, not bad at all. He had a solid season, but didn't pitch much, so jury is still out. Connor Santala, new draftee. Giorgeni Casimiri, also very young. Very good in the GCL, so I'm going to leave him here. Last year, Alexis Carmona, not bad at all. We'll leave him here for now. Alexon Caballero, actually, yeah, I'm going to move Carmona up to Vancouver. We are at Alexon Caballero, and I'm not crazy about his potential. Juan Acosta, not a good season. Second year at the same level. I think we're going to cut ties with Juan Acosta. And then we have here Kendall Williams, who obviously is, he's a high-ranking prospect. Now, his season wasn't great. I like the fact that he was hot to end the season. I'm going to bring him up to Vancouver. It's going to be his 3rd professional season. I think he needs to start in Vancouver. Matt Whalen was a guy who was drafted by us. I'm not crazy about where his control is. He's 21. I'm going to have him move up to Vancouver next year. Ethan Skuija, he was also a new draftee. He's a minor league signing. He didn't get into any games. Not a lot here. It's actually less, I think, than when I signed him. So I think we've seen, we think that he's better than we thought he was better than he might actually be. 22-year-old Eliezer Medrano was not good. I'm going to go ahead and cut him loose. And Ian Bedell, a new draftee, he came in, he threw a lot of innings and struck out a lot of guys. So that's really solid. He's going to move up to Vancouver for 2021. And now we go here to the the Gulf Coast League Blue Jays. A lot of college guys, a lot of high school guys. Drew Dowd, Carson Hamrow, Ben Hernandez. I mean, we're going to go through later and just go through all these guys. But, a lot of these guys struggled, so they may get a second year at the level. Kiner Alfaro, we signed him as well. We'll move him up to Bluefield, at least. Alexander Ayala, he was a draftee. We're going to move him up to Bluefield. Jonathan Bernal, not very good. Looks like he's got quite limited stuff, so he is still young. So I'm going to keep him around. I was going to release him, but I think I, thought better of it. Again, because of his age. He's so young. Fernando Chacon, again, 18. It's hard to cut loose a guy who's 18. Mark Civet, Andres Garcia, again, 18 years old. 19 for Yorman Gonzalez. And Yorman goes to Bluefield. Ronald Govea, again, 20. Now, he's a little bit older, so he definitely needs to move. He had a great season. Jefferson Herrera is 21. He needs to move. What's his potential like? He's got some stuff, so that could actually get him through. He may go to Vancouver at some point, but the control is still pretty low. Jack Sorrell LeBron, really not great stuff here. He's a draftee from a couple years ago. I will move him to Bluefield because he's got to start moving, or else he can't have 3 years in the GCL. Brian Mejia, not a great outing, but he's got some potential again, so we're gonna have to push him along. He's had parts of 3 seasons in the GCL, so we need to push him. Hunter Owen is a new draftee, solid strikeout to walk ratio. We'll move him to Bluefield. Yaifer Perdomo, Behardi Meza, again, all these guys are super young. 19, 18, 18, didn't pitch much. Jose Quintana, 18, lots of walks, but there is some potential there. Gerardo Santana. Santana is not very good, so we'll release him. Warnel Valdez, also not very good. And almost at the end, Yosver Zulueta, he should have a lot more potential than he does in the game. He was a guy signed out of Cuba. But since I don't have the same attachment and I didn't spend the money to sign him, I'm just going to release him because that movement just isn't going anywhere. Adrian Hernandez, 20-year-old guy. He has potential, so we're going to give him a chance at a higher level. All right, so that's the pitching staff for the Gulf Coast League, and now we go to the Dominican Summer League. Ton more guys. They're all super young. Jose Cerda has not much of it. He was very good, but he's 21, and it looks like his growth is very limited. Juan Martinez, 21 years old. These 21-year-olds. Okay, I'm going to give him one more chance. He was very good. I'm going to send him to the GCL. Sony Martinez, he's gone for another 3 months. He's 19. We'll keep him around. Roddy Sanchez, 20, and he's got some potential, so he goes to the GCL. Yuri Sanchez, also 18 with some potential. We're going to move him up. Pedro Acosta, 18 years old. More walks than innings pitched. He's 18. We give him another year. Sergio Carucci, 18 years old. Cesar Ayala is just 17. Christopher Castro, 18. Juanfer Castro, 19. Johan Concepcion, 19 years old. Leo Correa, 19. Darwin Cruz, 19. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff here. This guy, I mean, he has some potential, but he's already 20. So he's going to go for a sink or swim year in the Gulf Coast League. George Gomez, injured. He's only 17, so he, gets lots of time. Junior Lara is 19. Gene Lopez, 18. I'm just going to do this. Pitching potential. So we can see what people have as potential. We can see their ages. I should have done this before. So Tony Rosario here. Not a lot of potential, but he's 22. Sorry, Tony. Julian Valdez, 40, 40, 40. Christopher Rodriguez. So 20 years old. Frank Medina, okay. What did he do? He was very good, so he's going to move up. Francis Mercedes, how did he do? He was not very good. Angel Argenio Ortiz was okay. He's got some potential. I'm going to move him up. He's a lefty. Okay, and that's all. The other Nathaniel Perez, he's going to stay. Steven Vargas didn't pitch much. And Yeco Valdez. Okay, so that's our pitching. If we go to our batters, I'm going to go through it more off screen, but I'm going to just take our top three guys and give them their promotions. These are the guys who are the most key, the most that we've invested in. For the GCL, we have a few guys who probably have earned their promotions. A lot of the guys who really earned promotions likely got the promotions already. So Lucas Cook can definitely take one. And usually in the off season, I try not to worry too much about. Carson Wells had a solid debut. I try to not to worry too much about who's going to play. I just want to get guys at the level that I think they should be. So I'm going to move some of these guys up to Bluefield. And then we're going to go up to Bluefield and take a look. All right, and we're back. I just took a little time to promote some guys. And, as we went up through the organization, we had fewer and fewer guys getting promotions. So if you look here, we have 35 players for, including pitchers here for AAA. But we brought Alejandro Kirk up to AAA, and we brought Ryan Noda after a solid season up to AAA. And the third player from AA that we moved up was Josh Palacios. Everybody else we kept down in New Hampshire, including Kevin Smith and Logan Warmoth. Now, here we have Gabi Moreno being moved up, Jake Brote being moved up, Chavez Young being moved up, Cameron Eden being moved up, and Samad Taylor had already come up earlier in the season. What I am going to do is I'm going to release Logan Warmoth. Former first-round pick. I know it's tough to give up on a guy like this, but that's at least going to allow... Oh, they like Colin Large at short. I wanted to get him. I may force start Samad Taylor at second base. Cameron Eden defensively still needs to work on center field, so I've got him force started there. And Chavez Young, he is very solid defensively. I think his defensive stats in the game are underselling him. So we got him down to... Dunedin now, and we get the manager. Philip Clark is going to be our starting catcher in Dunedin. Will Robertson moves up from Lansing. Also coming up is Tanner Morris, Jordan Groshans, and Hunter Steinmetz. And then we go to Lansing. We've got some new guys coming up. So, for example, Ryan Sloniger comes up from Vancouver. Spencer Horwitz comes up from Vancouver. Scotty Bradley. Nick Gonzalez. He's going to be our second baseman next year. Davis Schneider comes up. He'll be a DH. John Solarte will come up as well. We've also got Miguel Giraldo, who was promoted mid-season. So it's going to be an interesting lineup. We've got Yorman Rodriguez catching. P.K. Morris, Nick Gonzalez, Giraldo, Trevor Schwecke, McGregory Contreras, John Solarte, Eric Rivera, and Davis Schneider, with DJ Neal also available to play the outfield. In Vancouver, we have Bobby Seymour moving up. We have Jose Rivas and Angel Camacho. Orelvis Martinez is going to stay there. He was promoted mid-season. Josiah Miller is going to stay there. Adrian Ramos is still there. Desan Brown, nice Canadian boy, and Nick Neal all got promotions just now. So interesting. We're going to need another catcher. That's fine. I'll just promote somebody from Bluefield to be a backup. Francisco Ruiz, who was not great. He'll get another chance. Bobby Seymour will play first. Leonardo Jimenez, Orelvis Martinez at short. Josiah Miller is going to play third. He was playing a lot of shortstop, but third base is fine. Ramos, Brown, and Neal in the outfield. That could be a good, solid team. For Bluefield, we've had a couple of guys get promoted. So we've got here a couple catchers. Anthony Morales, we'll move him up to Vancouver to be the backup. Javier Durazio, Jose Ferrer is going to be our starter, but Javier Durazio is going to be the DH. Stuart Baroa, Jan Perez, Lucas Cook, Glenn Santiago, Jag Burden. So these three guys, Burden, Wells, and Masson, were guys who came up from the GCL. And in the GCL, we still have 27 players. That's a lot of guys. We're not going to worry too much about this just now because we're also going to have guys for next season. And next season, I'm probably going to make a concerted effort to take more college players in the late rounds just to give these guys some time to play. But we will definitely see what happens next year. Here you see Chacon is our the international July 2nd free agent we signed this year. Esteban Machado is another guy who was signed at the July 2 last year, and Raquelvin De Castro signed last year. We may have him play at second base. Jose Izarra actually has a lot of potential, but very similar profile here to De Castro. Defensively, he's better, so very, very good defensively for Izarra. Maybe even better than, definitely better than De Castro. De Castro might have a better arm. And definitely more contact potential from De Castro. And that could help him get to the big leagues a lot more, I think. But really great range there, and that's going to be a good infield combination with Machado, 65 range at shortstop, and Izarra with also 65 range at second base. So we're going to have a really good combination up the middle. All right, and so that's going to finish it up. We also have a whole bunch of positions to fill in the minor league staff, and I'm going to do that off camera, I guess. The last thing we're going to do is vote for awards, and in fact, I'm going to do that off camera because, again, it's it's going to take a while, and you don't need to see everything, but we are going to work on this, and we'll let you know who we sign as things happen. So thanks for joining us. That is the future episode, going forward, seeing what's going to happen. And so now we're going to start simming the off season in our next episode. Thanks for joining us. I'm JayBlue of Blue Jays From Away at Jays From Away, and thanks to GM Games for hosting us here. Have a great day.